Hello and welcome to my second YouTube video bringing you some more Lorcana content and gameplay. So today we're going to be showing off this new Amber Steel Aggro deck which has done well in some tournaments in America recently. It's a really aggressive deck, lots of one-cost characters to start questing as soon as possible and winning the lore race. And it also utilizes Aerial Spectacular Singer, who is a 3-cost character who can count as a 5-cost for singing songs, which works really well with the powerful steel songs A Whole New World and Grab Your Sword. So Grab Your Sword is obviously very good for controlling the board against other aggressive decks, and A Whole New World refills your hand, and when your deck is full of cheap characters, then that just becomes so much more powerful for you than for your opponent, because you can start deploying them all into play straight away, often on the turn you play it. So there's a lot of characters in this deck, 41, and 5 different one-cost characters. We've got Lilo, who's just the best aggressive character in the game, alongside the Amethyst Maleficent with the same stats. Quest for 2 lore for only 1. And then we've got some others, so Stitch, Goons, Captain Hook, and Simba. Stitch is important because he can shift into Stitch Rockstar to help refill your hand if you don't have A Whole New World, or if you don't want to draw your opponent some more cards. Captain Hook is obviously a very powerful challenger against other aggressive decks. Simba helps you just to dig a little bit deeper and find the cards that you're looking for. And then our 2-cost characters are Prince Eric and Simba Protective Cub. Prince Eric is very similar to Captain Hook, very good at challenging. And Simba Bodyguard is so powerful after a turn 1 Lilo, because in many cases they won't be able to deal with the Lilo, and you'll be able to quest her a couple of times before they can do anything about it. We've already talked about Ariel, who's so important for finding songs and for singing them. And then we have the Tinkerbell, Tiny Tactician, and Giant Fairy. Giant Fairy is such a powerful card, and if your opponent is playing lots of characters, then you should be able to tidy up the board quite easily. And then you have Smash, which is inkable, so little opportunity cost of running it, and does the same job. Be Our Guest is another way to find some more action if your hand runs out, and Lantern is just a way to get your characters down even more quickly once you've refilled your hand. So let's get right into the gameplay and see how we do. Alright, so we're going first, so that's really good for us. We want to get as far ahead as we can as quickly as possible. Starting hand is pretty good. We've got 3 1-drops. Don't really need the Lantern at the moment. 6-cost Tinkerbell is probably too expensive, but we'll keep 1 Smash in case we need to banish any of their characters. Alright, and then we've got 2 Simbas, so a little bit of redundancy. We'll play 1 to have a look what we can get off the top. And it's another Simba, so we'll get rid of a Goons. Probably just has the least upside out of all of our 1-cost characters. Doesn't really do too much. Same stats as Stitch, but Stitch can shift into Stitch Rockstar, which is very important in some scenarios, so we'll keep him. Alright, turn 2, so we'll try and get 2 1-drops into play. Because we do the Grab Your Swords, we don't really need the Smash so much. Grab Your Swords should be able to deal with whatever we need. And then discarding off the Simba, we'll get rid of Prince Eric. It's probably better for us to play multiple characters rather than 1 more expensive character, so we'll keep the 1-costs. And on turn 2, we've got 3 characters into play, so a very good start. Opponent's got some Amethyst cards they've inked, so possibly a controlling deck, and they're playing Sapphire as well, so they're trying to ramp ahead. And when you're playing lots of characters out in an aggressive deck like this, the cards you need to be mindful of are Be Prepared, which will banish them all in one go, or Grab Your Swords, which can usually banish most of them. But in this case, our opponent is not playing Ruby and they're not playing Steel, so we don't need to worry about those. So we can go ahead and quest with all of them. We've managed to put Ariel into play as well. So we've set up quite well so far. So thinking about what they could be trying to do. Obviously, they've been ramping, so we could expect to see some powerful, expensive characters from them. Obviously, Amethyst has Ursula and Elsa. Sapphire has Belle and Hades, which we need to be mindful of. So they've played Belle, and they can ink another card. Okay, so we've drawn a whole new world, so we could potentially be refilling our hand soon. And while they've got 5 cards in their hand, I think now is probably the time, especially because we can sing it with Ariel and then still have 4 ink to play with, possibly deploy something else. So we've got Stitch, Eric. And I think we'll smash the Belle. This way she can't profitably challenge into any of our characters and we can just quest with all of them. Alternatively, I could have played Prince Eric or Be Our Guest, which might have been better, but it's important in these aggressive decks to be efficient with your ink. So I would rather use all of my ink every turn because then I'm getting the maximum value. So we've quested with everyone and we'll see what our opponent does. So they're running Elsa's. But it's going to be quite difficult for them to deal with so many characters at the moment. As I said, they don't really have any sweepers that can remove all of our characters in one go. But everything we have in play currently only quests for 1, so we're not going to be able to get to 20 too quickly. Okay, so they play Maleficent, which is very powerful. 4, 6 are its stats, and it can quest for free. So we need to be careful because it could easily challenge and banish 2 or 3 of our characters, but we get Simba Bodyguard off the top, which really helps the rest of our characters to quest without worrying too much. I think we will put that into play. They don't want to quest with Belle, they want to wait, most likely. And if Maleficent is challenging into Simba, then that's fine because all of the others can quest without having to worry too much. We can develop another character, and we can even play Grab Your Swords so that we banish Belle, and Maleficent is damaged to the point where if she does challenge us, then we can banish her on the next turn. And already we've got 7 characters in play and on 11 lore, so I think it's going to be extremely difficult for our opponents to come back from this. And this really just shows the power of this deck, just getting so many characters into play. Unless your opponent has and can play Be Prepared, then I don't think there's much they can do yet, and they just concede because they know the game is over. There we go, another win. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe. And if there are any decks that you want to see, just write it down in the comments and I'll be sure to showcase it in an upcoming video. Thanks. Bye.